Greetings, friends. We certainly welcome you to this session of Shepherding with Joy. We're discussing some things about marriage and how important it is and how really important it is to have a marriage that is based upon the teaching of God's Word. One of the things we find even in the book of Genesis, early in the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were the first marriage family unit. And one of the things that happened there was Satan interfered. He came into that situation and spoiled a perfect environment and arrangement by suggesting to Eve that God had not been truthful to her. She saw that this fruit that was forbidden was delightful for the eyes and seemingly going to be good for taste. And because of that, the whole situation changed. When we do things the way God has said they should be done, we will be rewarded and blessed. When we veer away from God's pattern, we will always pay a price for it.
Satan has always been the evil adversary, the one that is trying to destroy us and cause us to be eternally in torment. He was successful with Eve. He convinced her to eat of what God has said, do not eat. But we see other examples also where maybe we give in to the temptations, we yield to that which is there. Richard, we were talking earlier about David. How did he react to that temptation?
Well, King David, instead of being out in battle with his men, he decided to stay at home. And during that particular time, he went up on his rooftop and saw Bathsheba and lusted after her. You know, Satan entered his heart and he committed sin. With that, he also had Bathsheba's husband murdered by withdrawing the troops back.
Destroyed that home of Bathsheba and Uriah.
That's one thing that we today in our marriages, you know, there's so much opportunity that we have as we do our business, business travel, situations with so many men and women working together in the companies, more so now than in the past. There's so many opportunities to fall into that trap. And we see so many marriages in that situation that have been destroyed by Satan by allowing sin and lust to enter into the hearts of those. And those are things that, as far as young people getting married, we need to be watchful of and try to steer away from those type of situations.
And that brings me, brethren, to the thought of the advice, once again, to the young couple who is recently married or about to be married, what Brother Richard there referred to. So many marriages are ending in termination, you might say. Marriages are being dissolved through divorce. And, even from the beginning, we can look in the Old Testament in Malachi, I believe in 2:16. There it says that God hates the putting away or hates divorce. And the previous two verses, he talks about the young man who had married the young wife. It says the wife of your covenant. And that word covenant, the world fails to grasp what that means, to be binding to someone for life. And not to even have the divorce option on the table before they ever even consider marriage vows. But the world doesn't consider those things so often. It's sad that they do not. And that's why we as older have been married for some time. We need to share that knowledge through God's Word, lest the young couple finds themselves in a situation where their marriage is to be dissolved by civil authorities for maybe reasons that are in no way constitutes biblical authority for a divorce. And because God does not want marriages to end in divorce, to be binding for life.
The marriage today is perceived as a throwaway thing. I'll try this. Like I buy a car, I might keep it for a little while, grow tired of it, trade it in, get another one. But that's almost how marriage is perceived in so many places, and that's tragic. I know that the society that we live in, marriage should be that bedrock. It is the solid foundation on which our society is built. As goes the home, so goes our nation, it has been said. And thus we need, as you just suggested, Newell, what God has said. Remember what Jesus even uttered in Matthew 19, what therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. The three of us recently saw your daughter and now your son-in-law exchange vows. I can turn my mind back over a quarter of a century, and in a 3-month period, 2 of our daughters exchanged vows. But if we'll consider the vows that we made, that covenant that you referred to a moment ago, till death we do part, in sickness and in health, in prosperity and adversity, all of those things, we promised. We made a vow, and it's a triangular vow. It is the husband and the wife, and in the presence of God. To God, we're making that commitment. We need to make sure and build our world, our lives around those vows, keeping them, making sure to escape. As Richard mentioned a moment ago, temptations may arise. But like Joseph of old, Genesis 37 through 50, run away from it. Potiphar's wife was trying to do what was evil in the sight of God. Joseph wouldn't have it. He ran from it. He proved his strength, his allegiance to righteousness. Let's be strong. Let's build our marriages for life.
Right.